Release.
This meeting is being recorded.
Right, so 1.24, so I'm going to cut the external snapshot release very soon. I'm just waiting for the changelog PR to get merged basically right now. It's already got all the labels, just waiting. Let's see, let me check if it's merged now. Oh, looks like it's merged. Okay, I think I can cut the release after this meeting. And then after that, we can update the external provisioner. Yeah.
So last time there's some issue related to the old version host path. So it's
yeah, that's resolved. It's actually not really in that repo. It's the the place where we are setting the jobs in the test info. Yeah, there it was using the old version, not the new version. So updating that and basically we updated all the sidecars to use v1 instead of v1 beta 1 now.
Okay, and so it's nothing block the rest of
it's not blocking anymore. Yeah, there is still PR that is for the entry, but that one is okay. We can that's not blocking the sidecar. No.
So like whoever kind of responsible for release the sidecar, they can start doing that.
Right, it's just a provisioner has to wait for the snapshotter. Because we need to update, we need to release this first and update that one. So that also depend on the the new. But it's actually not really affect the functionality because the provision does not use v1 beta 1 anymore. It's just the dependency files.
Okay.
Yeah, but we'll update that.
Okay, so I think hopefully next time when more people join, we can kind of checking the ownership of each sidecar release.
Right. So since Ben is here, voting populated, we're waiting, right? For next, I think for 1.25, we're not going. So yeah, it's too soon to go GA. Basically, wait a little bit longer.
Right. The feature itself will stay beta, but we'll do a release. Someone had offered to actually push that PR, and I haven't seen it. So I wonder if I should do it.
Which release? I'm sorry.
Just the update of the library and the site in the.
Oh, it's still not okay. I'll take a look and see. I thought okay, maybe maybe I'll ping.
Maybe it's there and I missed it, but I thought I would get an email.
It's possible people missed that one because people only looking at the regular ones, right? So one probably is relatively new. Yeah.
Yeah, we need to do the sidecar release like normal for 124, but for 125, it'll just remain in beta.
Okay.
That's the plan.
Okay. Okay, Yang is also here now. So we could. Hey, how are you? How was KubeCon? Good.
It was good.
Well,
yeah, it's nice.
7,000 in person.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was big.
Is it very hot there? Because I see people seems to be wearing short sleeves and
yeah, like for me it was very hot.
Oh. Yeah.
It was like 30 degrees Celsius.
Okay, so degrees what is very high? Okay.
I don't know.
Okay,
it's like hot. Like there were people on beach and swimming.
Oh yeah, that must be it must be very warm. Yeah.
It was beach weather.
It's good. How was it? Are there any people going to the meet and greet Friday?
Yeah, like a couple of people showed up, but they had just generic questions.
Okay.
Nothing like specific.
Oh, okay. Yeah, meet and greet, those are for very new people. So yeah, they probably just okay.
I talked to some SIG release guys how to do our releases better, but they don't have any better suggestions.
Oh,
so we do it
probably only
right.
Yeah, they are probably only doing the in-tree one. Like, we're asking out-of-tree one. They probably not.
Yeah. That's why I asked like if they have any tools or any like processes, and told me like tagging a release on GitHub should be enough, and the machinery will generate all the images automatically.
Mhm.
And that's about it.
Oh,
It's up to us how we release when we decide to tag.
mhm. There is a I think it's Andy recently submitted fix. Basically, he added the trivia into the GitHub Actions. So I got that merged in Snapshotter. I think it merged in some other place, but I think Patrick has
Yeah,
some concerns with that one. So it's not merged.
yeah, exactly. Like he sent a similar pull request against
In the
Aperture.
provisioner, yeah, that one. I see Patrick comments.
I don't know, like, okay, what are we going to do, and who is going to do that if we find a security issue?
Then
That's my main
we fix it, right? Then we need to fix. It's just get that fixed early. Otherwise, what we
Yeah, but
do that in every release. In every release, we run it manually. We actually don't even run those, do we? We don't run them actually.
like, it seems weird to me to hook it at the pull request at the GitHub Actions. Like, if it was periodic, because like these new CVEs, they are discovered every now and then, so we need to scan the old code, not the new one.
But the new one,
I kind of agree with that.
Hmm?
I kind of agree with that. If you have a security vulnerability scanner,
Yeah.
it's mostly the old code that you're worried about, not the new code, because new code sort of by definition can't have vulnerabilities until someone
But that's
finds the
actually not the
vulnerability.
case, right? Normally I see, actually it was, when it's found, it's actually also in the master code. That's what I see. I mean, I haven't, or I rarely see like it's only happening on older code, not
the only situation where you would notice a security vulnerability with a new PR is if you're importing some other code that you previously weren't importing that has a known vulnerability. You could catch that at the time of the PR is going in, but everything else is sort of found after the fact once it's already in the tree.
Okay, so how you guys suggest, how do we do the scan?
So, but by the way, for the vulnerability, is it most of the time is from, let's say, the version of the image?
Images, yeah. Normally it's like you just need to update the image. We actually got a lot of that in our, my other project. It's just we and that all the time I see that we have to update our existing, master code. That's why I think it's going to be useful.
Our upstream images are distroless, so there's just the binary.
There's some other, well, actually not image, some library versions where we have a lot of files in the
that's the vendor directory, but like again, it's
well, that's okay. If you guys, if you have come up with a better idea, we could do with that. So right now we'll have that it's merged in Snapshotter. We'll let that go for a while, and also it's also in, I think it's in Node Trail Registrar. They do that one. Michelle merged that one, I think. Yeah, so we'll have that around for a while, and then we can see. Now we don't have to merge that in all other places. I mean, I think it could be useful, but if there is a better way, fine, right? It could be, we could do it.
So regarding image versions, I had a question about the possible improvement. I've noticed that we tend to update the image in the image tag in the example YAML after the image is tagged. So you'll release like a 1.5, and then after that you'll update the deploy.yaml to say image 1.5. I think it'd be better to do it before, even
so
though it doesn't exist for a brief moment.
Sure, maybe better, but like last time I got into this problem with the external snapshotter. I changed the image early, but then there was a bug at that time. I mean, it's just the build time takes longer, right? So it couldn't build the webhook, and then it takes a few days for that to get fixed. So that's the thing. If you update that too early, sometimes you have the problem. You don't have image, then your build keep failing. So there was a pros and cons. That I did last time I ran into that. I was also thinking it doesn't matter. We should just update it. But then because it take me some time to understand to figure out why that failed. It's not like I can fix that immediately. I didn't figure out what's wrong immediately. So yeah, that's the downside, I guess. So yeah, so sometimes it's not just it's also the the version, library version. Like I just recently there's some this is my other project. They actually detected this one on GitHub, right? They can detect that one. Sometimes give you notifications. They say you need to update this particular library to newer version, because sometimes they fix those old libraries, right? That you already included in your master code, right? But I think Patrick has this bot thing automatically update the dependency. That one should also help. This way we kind of always update our dependencies to newer versions. So yeah, so maybe we'll get less problems like this, since if we update frequently, we're always the newest version.
So update frequently, you mean someone.
So there is a so Patrick already has this one there. So this is already I think I already see that happened. It's automatically bot will generate a PR to update the dependencies of the sidecars to a newer library, something. I'm not sure exactly like how it got triggered. I do not remember. He brought this up some time ago in our in this meeting, right? CSI implementation meeting. So that is already there. So I think that could help, since if our dependents are kind of up to date, then you probably have less problems because it's always newest. So
okay, so
yeah.
that is for all the sidecar release.
No, that's for the on the master, right? That's only going to update the master.
Oh no, I mean all the sidecars. All the
Now the old sidecar is going to be on the new ones, right? It's going to update dependencies on the master of the sidecars.
yeah.
Go mod file, right? The Go mod file is going to update those libraries.
So we have a bunch of sidecar. I just mean all those have.
It's going to be automatically generated. Yeah, I do not remember exactly how he put that in there, but I already see. I remember seeing that, or maybe there was a time or like how periodically doing that or something. He had that one in there already. I remember seeing PRs generated by the bot. Bot already.
And it can merge automatically, or
no, it cannot merge automatically. We need to review it, but the PRs are generated automatically. Yeah, I do not remember where I see that. I remember seeing something. I probably merged something. Do not remember which sidecar. Yeah. But that is already there. That we talked about some time ago. Yeah.
Okay. So next time when Patrick is here, we can confirm how it works. Sure. Oh, but by the way, so for the distro list, I think we try to make most of the base image as distro list. That means
right. Yeah.
It will have the vulnerability, like security vulnerability.
But that will have less issues, right? Because that has less libraries. So but I mean, other than the distros, we still have other, there are other libraries we're using, right? There are other things we're using. So it's not like.
Are you sure we're not using distro lists everywhere? Because obviously we should.
On the CSI, we should. If not, then we should change that. Yeah, if not, we should definitely. If we missed, it could be because I know the webhook one. We only updated that very recently. If we missed, then we should just get that fixed. But
I think we still have some. I think we still have some images with a real distro, like this host path CSI driver.
Oh, that's still not okay. Then we should change it. Is there a reason? Is there a reason we have to?
I'm not sure, but I think the snapshot support created tarbos. I'm not sure if it calls tar or.
Why is that related to snapshot? I'm confused.
So for a proper CSI driver, it can make sense to have a real distro. I mean, I don't know which distro it is, but to do the job of a CSI driver, you need some binaries. You can't just.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So that's possible. Like what we did some workaround in my other project. I think just yeah, we use the distro list, but then added a few things manually when the command does not exist. We kind of manually added those comments, something like that. Yeah, there's a workaround. Okay, but I think I see what you're saying. Yeah, it's probably because that is it's like CSI driver, you need to do a few things, right? Distro list just does not have enough. That could be it. Okay.
Right, but,
Yeah, but that's just for testing. That's not for production. So security
Mm-hmm.
issues are less of a concern there.
Like even the
There's a
real
lot of
CSI
people.
drivers.
Yeah, I remember there someone was asking question, but you bring CSI host pass driver in production level is in the 6
Yeah.
session. There's
But
people actually using that. I know there are people at least using that for demo for their not for production, but at least for the demo. They actually, yes, a lot of people are using that. It's just convenient. It's easy. So Ben, if you have a better driver to contribute, please.
I do. I have to convince my boss to let me.
Oh, okay. Is that you think that one is production ready? I'm not sure. Or you can maybe contribute some of those into the host pass driver to make that production ready. I don't know. I'll just a thought. Probably because people are using the the entry host pass one, so they're expecting the auto tree one to be the same. So
no, they have completely different use case. But anyway, I talked to some people on KubeCon, and they might write either a new CSI driver or update the host path with the features they need.
okay,
They need
yeah,
some
that's good. Yeah,
real volume size enforcing and this kind of stuff.
yeah, right. Like
Yes.
the RVM base or something.
Quota based, like XFS quota based. I'm not sure how reliable is that, but they want to try at least.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would be helpful. Because a lot of people, they probably still just use the it's normally local volume, right? So they probably just use the entry local volume or the static provisioner for the local volume or something.
Yeah.
But we don't have one for the CSI, right? We don't have an official one. Patrick has something, and there's a what is that? Topo LV? Topo LVM?
Yeah.
Yeah, there were a few. It's just not officially under Kubernetes CSI, so it'd be good if you have something.
Okay. So last word is just I want to confirm, like if some driver has not yet used distroless image, that it worth to change it to distroless.
Driver, we don't really. You're talking about our repos.
It's for sidecars and stuff like that, not for drivers. I think.
Right. So yeah, probably so maybe like our sidecars, if there's anything left, then we should update it. Okay. But for drivers, then it needs those libraries, so we can't change everything.
So most of the CSI driver does not use distroless image, only the sidecars.
Yeah, like you need things like MKFS and this kind of stuff to have in the driver, and I don't think it's possible without add some distro.
Okay.
Yeah, I think if you use distro, you have to actually make a lot of changes to add some functionality manually, like we did some of those.
I mean, it is possible to use the binaries from the host if your CSI driver bind mounts the host file system. You can sometimes get away with that. In fact, we do that, but I'm personally doubtful that that's the best way to go. I think having things packed in the container may actually be better for most things, if not everything.
Exactly. Like,
where you really get into trouble is stuff like daemons. If you have to run a daemon like iSCSI, you cannot run that from inside your container and expect not to have problems. So sometimes you just have to use the binaries in the host.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I think we have some discussion on security part. Do you want to move on for the features?
Yeah.
So yeah, right now for starting from 125, I started using this new interface of project. I think it's quite convenient. You only need to put like issue link or cap link, etc. And it will automatically put some information I added. You can customize it. So that's why you see this is the information, customize it, and just for easy to see what is this feature stage and what we're trying to do on this release. And we
Nice.
have quite a number of features. We are trying to go to 125, and the number of we want is a complete new feature going to alpha, and a number of them from alpha to beta, a number of them beta to GA.
So like actually like the first one, it's just it's stays in alpha. Like yeah, I don't know how there is no stage like that from alpha to alpha. Maybe we should add one. Can you add anything, or is this fixed?
Yeah, it's I can.
Okay, maybe just like something like staying, or I don't know what is the but maybe have like a begin and end. That may be easier. I don't know. That's okay. Yeah.
Sure.
I mean,
Let's see. And
or you can just add, maybe just add one. So otherwise we have too many columns. So yeah, so this one, Yang. So yeah, I think Deepak thought I'll keep this one. Is
and here I typically don't have the permission to add assignees. So
this one is like the issue. Yeah, the issue itself has to. Yeah.
But if you have permission, you actually can assign people just here under this table.
Oh, okay.
You can try it. Yeah.
I don't.
I think a few of people like I can do that, assign people. But reviewers, I don't have any permission to update it. So I might, if needed, I might just add a new column and I can put people's name there. So it's easy to check who is responsible for, take care of this.
Oh, looks like I can, okay, I can add name there. Okay, I just added the command. Yeah, that's command. All right. Okay, we can try that later. It's okay.
Okay. How about reviewers? Can you do anything about reviewers?
I don't even see what's reviewer. Is that?
Oh,
I don't see reviewers. There's no reviewers. There's only assignees.
Really? Are you looking at my screen?
Let's see. Yeah, 1.25 assignee status kind. Let's see what. Oh, I don't see. Well, how come I do not see reviewers? That's very strange.
Because I added.
I don't see that. Can you refresh? I even did a refresh. I do not see that. I do not see reviewer. Is that a view too? No.
I'm not sure.
Assignee status and kind. That's all I see.
Yeah.
I don't see reviewer.
If I want, I can right now also add more new field.
Yeah, I think I can add to it, but I do not see the reviewers for some reason.
Oh, I'm not sure. Yeah, but anyway, so it seems useless. I cannot edit it, and it's not automatically. Most of the issues somehow they don't assign a reviewers for the cap. I don't know. So I can maybe just add a column by myself and add people's name there.
Okay.
And the status, yeah, you can update it. So any feature like Yang or Ben, you are taking care of or belong to you?
I have this as Linux thing, but I think it is already assigned to me.
So second one assigned to you.
Yeah.
And there's also 12, number 12, CSI inline volume support.
That should be Jonathan, right?
I think that's because you are assigned on that issue. So we can change that. Because sometimes, you go assign that, you can assign multiple people.
Okay.
So I don't. We don't have him on here, do we?
One's not here.
So there was the issue about sort of per volume CSI, sort of, I guess, Kubernetes specific
Oh yeah,
options.
that's we talked about that in
So-
the meeting last time, right?
Yeah, we've talked about it a few times, and I volunteered to sort of like guide the design and sort of drive the CSI side changes for that. So I guess we need to schedule a meeting on that subject to sort of gather what all the requirements are, make sure we understand what problem we're trying to solve, and then propose some solutions.
Sorry,
So
can you say that? Can you say that again? So I can take some notes. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't know what to call that. I don't know what the heading for this is. We don't have a good name for it, but it's the effort.
It is in the spreadsheet. It's in the feature spreadsheet at the end, Jean. It's like the
Okay.
almost the last item.
What did you decide to call it there?
When you check, we have it.
It's per volume something or other, because the whole problem is right now when you install a CSI driver, you create an instance of a CSI driver CR, and that sets some sort of Kubernetes specific options for every volume created by that driver. And the problem we've run into is that some of those options aren't or shouldn't be constant for every volume that the driver can create, because we have these drivers that can create different kinds of volumes.
Okay, I see it, and let me add.
Handle per volume CSI driver capabilities.
Oh, but we don't. Okay, so we need to open issue first. Otherwise, we cannot. Looks like we cannot add any text here, Jean. Right? We have to.
You can, but it's not that good. Yeah.
I can if I type. Does that work? See.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Also, just add this one. So I added but what does it? Okay, but anyway, I added this one Ben at the end.
Okay.
So at least we have it here, and then.
But the important thing is to get a meeting on the calendar and to get the right people in a room together to sort of talk about what are we really trying to do here. Because I have in my mind a very specific thing that I'd like to fix, and I know that Hemant has some other things that he'd like to fix, and there might be other people that have other ideas. And I'm worried that we'll either do too much or too little, and I want to make sure that we actually understand all the requirements that everyone is hoping to get out of this, so that we can produce a design that actually meets people's needs.
So I just want to confirm the problem here is, since most of the time CSI driver capability is like a per driver, like instead of individual, like a different volume.
So the CSI driver CR or CRD, right? There's a CRD called CSI driver that has a bunch of Kubernetes specific options that are used by kubelet and other things. And right now, when you install a CSI driver, you just get one of those. You create one instance of that for the whole driver.
Not only that, right? It's also the CSS spec also, right? You can't really separate the capabilities. You either support it or don't support it.
Well, I mean, but the right way to think about it is like the whole reason that the CSI driver object exists is because the CSI spec is silent on those subjects, right? It doesn't say what to do. So Kubernetes invented this sort of proprietary mechanism.
Depending on who is calling. It's like if you do not have access to CSI driver directly, you do this CSI driver object. I mean, but so basically needed in both.
Crucially, like these behaviors are not CSI behaviors, they're Kubernetes behaviors. And that's why the CSI spec doesn't say anything about them, because CSI spec doesn't care. It's Kubernetes that cares. And so we've created this object as a way to sort of signal from the CSI driver to Kubernetes what the behavior should be. But it's for every volume of that driver creates. So what we've identified is there are at least certain situations where we really want those Kubernetes specific behaviors to vary per volume. And so we got to make some kind of change, probably at both levels, at the Kubernetes layer and at the CSI layer, to let the driver say, okay, for this volume, do this, and for that volume, do that, which means some new return value or some new something. And again, I'm being very vague because I don't know what everyone else.
So like we definitely have a use case in our driver, right? So I think there are a few people from my team would be interested in this discussion, because we have been struggling with this, like the like the list volumes capability, right? That is like you just have this one capability, but we have file volumes, block volumes. They behave differently. You know, one supports it, the other does not support it. So that's the problem that we also want to.
Okay. Well, yeah. So
address.
but Kubernetes doesn't use the list volumes
No, it
entry
does.
point anywhere. It does. Oh,
Kubernetes
the
use-
external attacher sidecar does.
right.
Right. Okay. Yes. The external attacher sidecar does list volumes. I remember that now.
Yeah.
Because it's interested in knowing which volumes are published to which nodes, and so it uses list volumes to find
That's
that
the
out.
reconciliation for that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there are things
that's
like
yet
that.
another
Mhm.
another problem, because that's not even per volume information. That's just like the behavior.
Different type of volumes, right? So it's
Yeah,
still per
different.
volume. So if we can make
Yeah.
the capability per volume, that'll be easier. That will actually solve this problem, right?
Not really, because the external attacher
Mm.
doesn't have a volume to start from. It just says, give me a list of the volumes, right?
Okay, yeah, that's type. Okay, so it's a
Yeah.
it's a type, well, it's volume type, but in our
Yeah.
case, different volume type or something. Yeah, different type.
Yeah. So that's a slightly different. But I mean, I want to gather up all these.
Yeah,
these
yeah.
use
So I
cases and
think
problems.
I think it's not that easy to solve, right? Probably you write down all the cases and then we can come up with something.
Yeah. Yeah. And maybe the thing we come up with won't solve your exact problem because it's slightly different, or maybe we can find a way to get it covered. But yeah, the one that I care about is in particular the FS group behavior, where the CSI driver object can specify whether to use it that or not. The FS group or Chown FS, the change group ownership policy. Like what we would like to do is have it behave one way for SAN volumes and another way for NAS volumes, and right now we can't do that.
Right,
So,
that's similar. That's actually similar to the list volumes. Also, like you are also in this case you also want to differentiate between different types.
right, but
You're
but
only talking
the
about
difference in this
CSI
case
driver
is
object, but I'm talking about the capability, right? So I think those two are related anyway.
it's related, but the difference is whenever kubelet is interested in knowing what the FS group change policy is, it knows what volume it's interested in, right? It says, for this volume, what should I do? For that volume, what should I do?
Right. So
In
normally
the
we
case
have
of listing
those two.
volumes,
Normally we have
you
the
don't-
capability and the CSI driver, they match. Normally we have them match because kubelet cannot directly make those calls. So
well, kubelet has a way of knowing what the type of the PV is and what the FS group change policy for a given CSI PV is. I don't know how it does it, but it does.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, so probably need to set a meeting to
Yeah,
talk. I
so
think this one is pretty complicated actually.
yeah, this Thursday we have the SIG storage meeting. We bring it up, and
We don't have a 6 storage meeting this Thursday.
this week.
It's
No.
next.
No, I think it's next week.
It's next week. Yeah.
So do you want to wait until next week? So because at that time.
No, I think we need to schedule a one-off meeting that's separate, and we need to make sure that all of the interested parties are able to attend.
Yeah,
That's the key.
Yeah, I mean, in that meeting, just bring it up and setting meeting time. So.
Oh yes, we could get it on the calendar and then announce it in that forum and say, hey, please join this meeting if you're interested. Maybe we could even use the Tuesday 1 o'clock time that we used to use for volume populators if that time is still open.
Okay, so you want to do it like this week, next week, or even later?
No, we can plan it for like two or 3 weeks from now, and then we can announce it at that meeting and say, hey, please join if you're interested. But we should get it on the calendar so that we know, and then I can start writing down materials and get some documents prepared and all that.
Do you want to set up some like what is that? What do we use? SurveyMonkey or something? There was a or the what do you call the doodles or something? There's a way
Google
to
Doodle.
get the
Google Doodle.
get the people who who can attend.
That's I mean, it's gonna be a ways out.
Another way is just to see who you think has to attend the meeting and then try to find a time that works for them.
Maybe I guess my inclination is put a tentative time in the calendar and ask people if they can make that time, and then if most people can, or if there's just one that can't, maybe we can get the capture the input separately before the meeting so that all the points of view will be represented. I can probably manage that.
Okay.
So
Okay. And also you can post it on the Slack, like people sometimes also check Slack, they can respond.
yeah, I mean, posting a Slack message, or usually the email list is better for things like that because email is
Oh.
much more asynchronous, and I'll just send out an email and say, hey, the SIG storage is going to have this one-off meeting about this subject. Join if you
Okay.
care.
Sure.
So yes,
So,
yes.
you can help on this. Okay, so I think that's a good topic to have a meeting, and then we see what use cases we want to handle.
Yeah, and just to be clear, like I want to figure that out, and I want to drive any CSI changes that are necessary. But like when it gets into actually changing kubelet, I'm going to want help to do that kind of work because I'm not familiar with all the guts of kubelet with these FS group change policies and everything. I've never touched that code.
Sure. I think yeah, someone could help. Like, and then we want to talk about volume group cap.
Yeah, we can just talk about that briefly. So I basically updated that one. I mean, we have this cap has been reviewed for a long time. It's just getting it's just getting too much like different feature requests. So I'm thinking, we want to make this one, the first phase, a little simpler. Well, it's still not cannot be simple because there are so many CRDs involved. But the first phase, I'm thinking not address everything, but have something and see if we can agree to it, and then have a provisional cap merge, and then we can do some POCs, and then we can iterate on that. So that's what I'm thinking. I just want to. Okay. Do you want to go over this? I think we are kind of.
Yeah. Today maybe not enough time to go over details. But I want to see like do we have estimate like which driver probably can support this volume group so we can.
Yeah, there are people who are like Pure and Dell EMC. They I know they already implement this one. I'm not sure, Ben. I don't know if your side has done this yet. And then we want to implement this one as well. So I'm sure there are others who has already implemented this one themselves, right? So and also I believe your side, Jane, I remember you guys are looking at this one a long time ago as well. So I'm not sure the status, but
you mean our cloud, like a GCPD driver? Like
you're not in, but you guys look at this feature a long time ago, right? Implementing this a long time.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what's the status, but yeah. Yeah. So I'm just saying there are a lot of there are definitely drivers who are, who can't wait. They just went ahead, right? There were people actually asking me a couple of weeks ago when I can get this merge. And say, okay, I'm not sure.
So you mean some driver already implement their own and they kind of have their own CRDs?
Correct. Yes.
Do we want to like also have a meeting like to see how, if there are already several own, I don't know how many already have their own, so we can take a look and then see how
well, but this cap has already been going on for some time, right? So it's not like those people did not review this. This cap has feedback from those people as well, like the Dell they have been actively reviewing this, right? So it's not like a brand new concept for them. Pure people, they are also, they're aware of this. They want to help with with implementation long time ago. I'm not sure if those people are still there, the people who pinned me a while back. But I know there are, definitely people who are interested in this one, right? So I think we need to make some progress. They can give feedback, right?
I see. So then next time maybe we can spend more time on review of the
So the thing that I changed is that was not there in the cap that I was submitted there, is I added the the static provisioning piece because I think that's actually an important use case. So now it looks slightly complicated now because now we have instead of one volume group object, now we also have a volume group content. So yeah, so we have those the similar concept that we have with those binding and things like that.
Okay. Yeah, each time I feel like when we talk about design, like whether we do need two objects or one, or binding is needed. So there's always some kind of discussion, pro and cons.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, but I think definitely, I mean, if we think we can support static provisioning with one object, then that's fine, I'm all for it. But if the reason to have two objects is because we want to support static provisioning, then we need two, basically. That's what I'm thinking. So that's why I, decided to add this. It was not in there in early proposal. So that's another reason I want to keep the old cap. Yeah, it already has a lot of things there.
Okay, sure. Okay, I think I mentioned one small item here related to I want to move informal storage capacity isolation feature. It's actually beta since 1.10. Now it's 1.25 and we haven't really GA it yet. And I'm preparing the cap and we'll submit it soon. One small thing I noticed from a customer issue is, this feature, we need to monitor the storage usage from empty dir volume and also container readable layer logs, like storage usage. But if the container, right, you have a container image, the YAML, the Docker file set up its own volume. Like I think if you see Prometheus container, they in their YAML file, they set up a data like Prometheus data volume, and then use that volume to write data. And all these monitoring will not keep track of that data usage. And so it's kind of, even though there are already data written somewhere on the disk, but we are not keep track of that usage. And for this feature, right, you won't really evict pods since you're not tracking that part. So anyone have some idea about this? No. Okay. So yeah, I right now I don't have a good thoughts about how to resolve this. So Ben or Yang, are you aware of this or?
So sorry, I missed the last part. I was trying to fix a bug.
Yeah, I guess you are not listening, you guys. So
Yeah.
So for the informal storage, right, we monitor empty dir disk usage. We monitor container readable.
You said ephemeral storage?
Yeah, ephemeral storage, yes. And container, we monitor container readable layer logs usage and also empty dir. But if a container's image, right, they have set up the Docker file, they set up a volume in their Docker file, right, and then write data to that volume. That is considered something called a Docker volume or a container volume. And we right now in the Kubernetes code, we do not have a way to track those data usage. It's not belong to empty dir. It's also not belong to like a container image FS or like a readable.
But how would you do that through Kubernetes? I've never heard of this.
So we noticed this from a Prometheus pod. So if you deploy a Prometheus pod, and the Prometheus, if you check their Docker file, they set up a volume called something called data, Prometheus data. And then suppose you are going to write data to that folder, to that directory. And so when we monitor the container ephemeral storage usage, we are not keep tracking that usage.
But how do they create the volume? Is it a host path? What is it that they actually create in their pod spec?
The pod spec you don't need to. I think it's in the Docker file of Prometheus container image, and you will see they put a line, something called basically create a volume there.
You can create a volume in your Docker
Docker
file.
file. Yeah, yeah.
All right. I guess I'm just not familiar with how that would
Mm.
work. Is it like a
Yeah.
relatively
Yeah.
new Docker feature?
Yeah, a Docker volume.
I think it's pretty old, but nobody uses it, so I don't know how does it behave.
Oh, so maybe we should suggest the Prometheus not do that way. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know what does it do.
Yeah,
It
I
must store
checked
the
the,
data somewhere.
yeah, it's also kind of just store like on the disk, on your local disk eventually, right? The data. So, but from the monitoring part, we'll not be able to keep track of that.
But I mean, like this seems like it seems dangerous. If Kubernetes doesn't know this is going on and it's happening anyways, so like I can just define an image where I get free space on the node's hard drive and Kubernetes doesn't know that, like you can imagine denial of service attacks and all kinds of other bad things that are opened up by that ability. So I guess I find it very surprising that that the image can by itself just declare that it's going to put some storage on the host, you know?
So next time, I'll find that code, like I can
Yeah.
show you. Yeah, once I check it, and it's in their Docker file of set up the Prometheus container. Yeah. Okay, so I just want to bring up to see like anyone have some thoughts about this. If it's like you said, it's kind of like maybe have some dangerousness in this, we might take some action to avoid doing this way.
Okay.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. We're already late for quite a while, past the time for a while. Okay, then we will see Wednesday. Okay,
Okay,
All right.
thank you.
thank you.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.